Hello everyone out there on YouTube. My name is Rock Jock. I'm one half of the voice of the Urban Wrestling Association. I thought I'd make this video to help to celebrate, for getting our 300th subscriber, the big milestone for us here in UWA. And I'm sure all you guys have noticed that, we recently finally got out of our hiatus due to our technical difficulties. Now that's all fixed and taken care of finally. And we just recently put up Square of Despair, and in this video, if all you people out there have not seen Square of Despair, I suggest do not watch the rest of this video, because this video will probably perhaps give away the result of Square of Despair. So if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want anything get spoiled, then you might want to finish watching Square of Despair before you watch the rest of this video. Spoiler. And by the way, folks, obviously we're gone for a month. We're gone for a month. We just put up Square of Despair, and well, we have a really busy schedule, with work and doing UWA and not. I don't have enough time to do everything we've missed. So the next thing we will be putting up after this video will be Limit First Fight, which is scheduled to be up by March 18th. So unfortunately, the 3 episodes of Assault that we were originally scheduled to do between Square of Despair and Limit First Fight will not be putting up on YouTube. But seeing as how we don't want people to get lost in the storyline by the time Limit First Fight comes around, I decided to make this video to go over the stuff that you guys would have missed on the 3 episodes of Assault, and I'll kind of go down here and show you what happens on every episode. I'll give you the whole card scheduled for Limit First Fight as well. So, starting off in the first episode of Assault after Square of Despair, it opened up with Filmo making a huge announcement saying this is the beginning, this is the start of the path to Pandemonium, where anything can happen. And it's one of the most interesting time of the year for all the people who want to compete on the grandest stage of them all, Pandemonium, which is on May 2nd, 2010 of this year. He also made his first blockbuster announcement was that later on tonight he will announce the number one contender for the UWA Championship to face Rampage at Limit First Fight for the world title. And he'll make his announcement later tonight. He also announced that there'll be a tournament. This is a milestone tournament in UWA, a tournament where the purpose will be to unify both the West Coast Championship and the Underground Championship. Of course, the current West Coast Champion is the Destroyer. The current Underground Champion is Spike Spiegel. So both of those men will be competing in this tournament along with 6 other men in the near future. And at the end of this tournament, 2 men will fight. They'll unify the 2 titles into a new championship in the UWA. And he announced that this tournament will start here tonight, and the qualifying matches are as follows. It's going to be Vicious versus the Destroyer, Vampiro versus the Franchise Player, Egoman versus Planet X, and Sombriato versus Spike. One more thing. He also made a huge announcement that tonight will be the beginning of the qualifying matches for the one-way ticket Money in the Bank ladder match. And those of you who don't know what the one-way ticket match is it's kind of like a Money in the Bank match, but instead of a contract where you can cash in for a title shot anytime within a year, it's basically a contract where whoever wins the match gets a contract where they can create any match they want to be a part of at Pandemonium. They can challenge whoever they want for whatever title for any stipulation possible. So basically, whoever wins the match, they can basically make themselves in the main event at Pandemonium, or they can do whatever they want with it. I mean, of course, last year Samoa Joe won, and he challenged Von Creed for the UWA title in a Hell in a Cell match against Von Creed, despite the fact that Big Josh won the Square of Despair match, and he wasn't even in the match. So basically, anything can happen in this type of match. So the first match of the night was the Destroyer versus Vicious in the first round, the first match of the title unification tournament. And basically what happened is the second the match started, the Destroyer just walked out of the ring. He just refused to wrestle. He somehow knew that he was going to get screwed in this match backstage. He heard that Samoa Joe, of all people, planned to screw him out of the match, and he didn't want any part of this match. The Destroyer said, on our website, there was an article on our website that said Destroyer, he refuses to work in a company that has a shitload of politics and any type of backstage antics, and he just absolutely refused to face Samoa Joe. And he kind of wondered why of all people would Samoa Joe want to screw Destroyer, out of the first round match against Vicious. some people speculate it's probably because it all went back to that right before Bloodshed, when Destroyer, with that unprovoked attack on Samoa Joe, did the Kimlani Cyclone to him through the announce table unprovoked. Who knows? I guess we'll find out in the later coming months. And then we went backstage to an interview with Mitch Watterson, and Jeff asked Mitch Watterson, you know, what were his thoughts about the current state of the Cruel Coalition, and basically what happened at Square of Despair after the Suicidals lost the tag team titles to the Ground Greats, after Sombriato lost his opportunity to win Square of Despair and compete at Pandemonium in the main event. Mitch Watterson went on the record and said that the Cruel Coalition is done for. You know, Reginald has been released from UWA, and the Cruel Coalition is done for. So Mitch said that he and he going to go and party that night, and he went into his car, however Jeff, the last second, forgot an important question he forgot to ask him. But right before he approached his car, when Mitch was inside his car exploded with Mitch inside it. So obviously Mitch Watterson taken out of the picture. So who knows? You know, no one knows the situation of Mitch Watterson right now. No one knows who's behind it. There's an investigation going right now to see who was behind that explosion on Mitch's car there, that bombing on Mitch's car. And then we went to a match between Arisea and Black Rose in an exhibition match. Basically, it was a squash match. Arisea beat Black Rose with ease. And then it went backstage to the Enforcer arguing with Regina, and how, you know, the Enforcer was saying to Regina, how can you align with Al Gore? He's like the scum of the universe. As mentioned, after what he did to Filmo at Square of Despair by taking him out in the ring on Square of Despair. And of course, Regina didn't answer his question. She refused to answer that question. And Regina followed by saying, "How the hell, Enforcer? Nick? How can you get Blue Angel, out of all people, to be the 16th participant in this double Square of Despair match? That means this injury-prone woman who hasn't been seen or heard of in a whole year is now going to get the main event spot at Pandemonium." And Regina's just furious about that. So they went on back and forth, and then the Enforcer left the office, and then Ursula and Olivia Ariano came into the picture, discussing with Regina, asking that both of them, Olivia and Ursula, were arguing back and forth who should get the next Double X Championship opportunity against Arisea. And, you know, both of them brought up valid points where they think they each should have a shot. I mean, Ursula said, you know, she's the best Double X champion that the UWA's ever had. Of course, Olivia said, you know, that the Enforcer stripped her of the title, therefore making her the uncrowned Double X champion, and that gives her an automatic title rematch. But then Regina replied by saying that, don't worry, ladies, next week I'll have my decision on who gets a title shot against Arisea for the Double X Championship. So next week we'll see between Olivia or Ursula which one of the two gets to face Arisea for the Double X Championship. And then after that, I went to an interview with Blue Angel, where she said she was glad to be back. It's an honor for her to win the Double X Square of Despair match to face the women's champion at Pandemonium. Basically giving everyone an edge story where, you know, the doctors said she couldn't wrestle again, you know, defying the doctors, saying she was, you know, the Enforcer called up at the last second, and she was able to still come out and compete. And basically saying to all people that one of these days she wants to get her revenge on Pink Angel for trying to end her career at last year's Pandemonium. And at the same time, Blue Angel said to show the world, I do not associate myself one bit with Pink Angel. I'm going back to my old ring name as Angelinus. So now Blue Angel's not going by Blue Angel anymore. She's now going by Angelinus, her old name, like she did last year. And then they went to a match between Ursula Ariano and Mona Loca versus Aaron Emily and Olivia Ariano. And the second the bell rang, out of nowhere, Ursula Ariano gave Mona Loca, her own partner, an East St. Louis superkick, just walked out of the ring and left Mona Loca hanging there. And then basically she had to fight a handicap match against, you know, Aaron Emily and Olivia Ariano. But, you know, she put up a valiant effort, but Mona Loca at the end lost to Aaron Emily and Olivia Ariano. And I guess not only does Olivia, you know, not only does she want to prove herself to Regina, but also there's been this new animosity between Aaron Emily and Mona Loca. We don't know exactly what. So both Aaron Emily and Olivia were kind of fighting over who gets the pin. but at the end of the day, it was Aaron Emney who pinned Mona Locke in that match. And then it went to the franchise player versus Vampiro for a first round tournament match for the new Unified Championship. But before the match started, the Destroyer came out, and finally he announced the entire world what happened backstage between Vicious and the franchise player back at Gang Warfare. Because we all remember at Gang Warfare, we remember that it was for Lord Magma defending the title against a franchise player, but out of nowhere Vicious turned his back on Lord Magma and screwed Lord Magma the title, causing the franchise player to win the championship. And the Destroyer admitted to the entire world what he found and what happened. And what really happened was a shocker to the entire world. What happened was that both the franchise player and Vicious were in cahoots.